And hello, one and all, back up here from my review for last night's edition of SmackDown Live. We're going to take a look and break down everything that took place on the October 18th, 2016 edition of SmackDown that emanated from Denver, Colorado. In fact, the same building, WWE, were in back-to-back nights, Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Tuesday, which made me wonder, why they didn't have a different stage set up. It was kind of lazy on their part, but as long as it's only 1 week forward and we don't continue to see them using the same set week after week, just a minor gripe there. But overall, I enjoyed SmackDown for the most part. Was it a perfect show? No, but it was definitely, I think, a much more enjoyable show compared to Raw. It certainly helps, like I say every week, that this show is 2 hours. But yeah, there was enjoyable stuff on this show. And, of course, we'll get into that with my review. We'll break down everything that took place on this show. So, unlike Raw, SmackDown left me wanting more, not less. So, kudos to them for that. But, yeah, without further ado, let's get into this SmackDown Live review. We kicked things off this week on SmackDown with Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. But before the match, Orton would get on the mic. He talks about how he's losing his mind and that he's going crazy, and it's an even bigger problem for Bray Wyatt. And Bray gets on the Titantron, and he says he's about to take Randy Orton on a journey where Orton will be gasping for his last breath of air over and over again. Bray asks Orton if he's enjoying this, and eventually it's Luke Harper versus Randy Orton. It was an alright match, decent match. The interesting thing of note that Bray Wyatt, while cutting this promo, was inside a casket. So might we possibly be getting Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt in a casket match? Well, we'll have to stay tuned to see. Potentially seeing that match being lined up for the Survivor Series show. Possibly a way to blow off the feud between Orton and Wyatt. So we'll have to see what direction they go in with that. But it was ominous that they did have Wyatt in the casket. Eventually, midway through the match, Wyatt would be brought down with his sheeple followers, as Mauro greatly called. I love that note by Mauro Ranallo. Brought the casket down. Wyatt would emerge from the casket, eventually run interference. The match would end in a disqualification. And eventually, as Wyatt was going to put Orton inside the casket, Kane, the lights would go out, and eventually Kane would be revealed to be inside the casket, and Orton would hit Orton with a DDT, and Kane would go for the lariat to Luke Harper, cleared him out, and then Orton, as he set up for the RKO, lights would go out, and the Wyatts would disappear. So one interesting note, seeing as how Kane has become involved in this feud with Orton and the Wyatts, what I would like to see is maybe Kane trading his mask for a sheep's mask and become a surrogate, quote-unquote, for the Wyatt family. We give them another member, just have somebody for Bray to, I thought when Wyatt and Kane feuded way back in 2013, after Wyatt won in that Ring of Fire match at SummerSlam, if you all remember, that was the direction that they were going to be going in with Kane and Bray Wyatt. They never did. They kind of, just dropped that whole, when they carried him out of the ring that night at SummerSlam. But I would like to see it. Kane at this point, there's really nothing more left for him to do, but I think in the role as the enforcer, as the brainwashed surrogate for Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper to use, could help further build back up Bray Wyatt, who should go over in this feud with Randy Orton, could help give him some massive credibility that he needs. They need to just have Bray win match after win match and restore credibility in the fans' eyes, because if he loses this feud, it's really all for naught. So I just don't see the benefit for that. But hopefully Wyatt comes out on top of this feud with Randy Orton. And what do you guys think down below in the comment section of my idea for having Kane join the Wyatts, trade in his mask for a sheep's mask, and act as their surrogate, their brainwashed henchman, quote-unquote. I certainly think it could be interesting because at this point, Kane's really has nothing left to do. So if you're going to have him on SmackDown, I think that could be a potential direction they go in. Eventually, we have a backstage interview with AJ Styles. He's asked, what do you think about defending your world championship tonight against James Ellsworth? Styles says he can't believe it's happening. He scratched and clawed to earn the right to be called the face that runs the place. And Styles says getting in the ring with the waste of space, fat, skinny turd James Ellsworth, He said Dean Ambrose will try and find a way to embarrass him. And he said it could be like WCW all over again, like David Arquette winning the title. And Styles is just shocked. He's dismayed that he has to, lower himself to defending his title against somebody like James Ellsworth. So I was okay with this match taking place. It was a 1-week deal. Obviously, there was no chance that Ellsworth was going to win the title, but it's something fun for the time being. SmackDown's kind of in a holding pattern until the build for Survivor Series kicks off, probably the week after, not next week, because we still have Hell in a Cell. So once we get through that, then we'll definitely see things pick up on the Blue Brand. But for this week, I was certainly okay with it, and I thought the match and the theatrical, everything that went into it was enjoyable. So we'll talk about that later in this review. I thought this match between Alexa Bliss versus Naomi was leaps and bounds better than their match at No Mercy. I felt that the match at No Mercy was obviously rushed. It was put in a precarious situation due to Becky Lynch's injury status. It was sloppy. The same can't be said for here. I thought this was a good, solid women's wrestling match between Naomi, who seems to be getting more and more crowd support behind her. But in this match, Alexa Bliss was able to counter and pick up the win over Naomi. During this match, there was a nice springboard crossbody that Naomi hit on Alexa Bliss for a 2 count. However, towards the end of the match, Bliss was able to trip up Naomi on the top rope, and she was able to connect with a twisted Bliss to pick up the victory. So probably it looks like, maybe they won't be going in the direction of a triple threat once Becky Lynch makes her in-ring return to SmackDown Live on the November 8th edition in Glasgow, Scotland. Really looking forward to the eventual showdown between Becky Lynch and Naomi. So we'll have to see, or Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, excuse me. We'll have to see what the continued direction is for the SmackDown Live Women's Division. As you all know, the 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination matches have been announced. So I definitely see Naomi, Alexa, Becky, Nikki, and Carmella being on Team SmackDown Live. So that's probably the direction that they have going forward for the women's division. But then we move on. Of course, after the match, Alexa Bliss cut a nice little promo after the match. She talked about, of course, her impending showdown with Becky Lynch on November 8th. She pretty much said that the fairy tale is going to end for Becky Lynch, and there will be no magic slipper, and the Wicked Witch will be dead. There will be a new champion, and will be the fairest one of them all. So, yeah. Nice little promo here from Alexa Bliss, who is one of my favorite women's wrestlers on the roster right now. She's certainly coming to her own. She was one of my favorites to watch in NXT, and I love what they've been doing with her on the main roster and here on SmackDown Live. We have what was next, was supposed to be a scheduled match between Apollo Crews and Kurt Hawkins. We thought maybe this is finally going to be the night that we see the debut, or should I say re-debut, because he was already in WWE before, but they want you to remember that never happened, of Kurt Hawkins. He didn't debut. Crews hit him in the mouth, and that pissed him off, and he went to the back, the winner of a no contest. Not really too much to say about this. I don't really know where they're going to go with Kurt Hawkins. I can really just see him being an enhancement guy, like was rumored to be happening. You bring him back, help put over some of the newer talent, but I don't know. Just not really sold on the gimmick or the, Kurt Hawkins, Chuck Norris type vibe they're trying to create here. We'll have to see where it goes, but at the moment, leaves a lot to be desired, really. We had what I thought was a nice back and forth promo segment between Carmella and Nikki Bella. It was nice to have these two have time, go to the ring, tell their story. I really like the fact of Carmella trying to get under the skin of Nikki Bella, bringing up her relationship with John Cena. She talked about, how pretty much because of her boyfriend, Nikki really got all of the opportunities, and not the fact that she has any type of talent. She said Nikki is fearless because she goes home with Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect every night. And Nikki says that Carmella is just like all the internet bullies that have bothered her throughout the years. She said she has been on television shows, and she has been seeing thousands of photos with Cena, so how is she trying to hide it? She said Nikki said she came back from her neck surgery, which she did, and, she tries and keeps, her personal relationship with Cena, out of the way once she steps inside that ring. Eventually, Carmella said she used her boyfriend, John Cena, to become a celebrity. So I really like the back and forth dynamic, the fact that Carmella tried to go after Nikki's relationship with John Cena, and the fact that she stated that she was jealous of Nikki Bella getting the upstaging her in her hometown of Brooklyn at SummerSlam for the kind of antithesis to, the lead-off to develop this feud. I would have liked to have seen these two get physical. Maybe throw, some back and forth fist flying. That's the only downside, but I really did think it was a solid in-ring promo segment between Nikki and Carmella, so we'll have to see where the feud continues between these two. We had a backstage interview with James Ellsworth. He said Renee Young asked him if he was nervous tonight. He said last week he was in a match against AJ Styles. He survived, and Daniel Bryan granted him a title match, and he says he doesn't deserve it, and he's not in AJ Styles' league, but he will be able to tell his great-grandchildren that he wrestled for the WWE World Championship. So nice little words there from James Ellsworth. So we had our fourth match tonight. It was a fun, solid, enjoyable six-man tag team match, which was set up last week when Slater and Rhino made the save on Dolph Ziggler as the Mikey and Nikki the Spirit Squad attacked Ziggler, or Mikey and Kenny, excuse me. So yeah, fun, solid six-man tag match. Nothing really more to say about this. It was Rhino and Slater teaming up with Ziggler to take on The Miz and Mikey and Kenny. What I was surprised to see was the fact that due to a cheap shot from The Miz on the outside to Heath Slater, that Kenny was able to roll up Slater for the victory. So I don't know if this leads to tag title match between the Spirit Squad and Slater and Rhino. Like I said, don't know if I really would be interested in seeing that at all. Probably just a placeholder feud for Slater and Rhino until possibly the Usos or American Alpha beat them for the titles. But it is what it is, so not really too thrilled about that. But it looks like Miz versus Ziggler will be continuing. I could see them potentially just having a one-on-one match against one another, the blow-off for this feud at Survivor Series. And what do you guys think? I was thinking in my mind, what would be a good stipulation to throw on these guys? I was thinking, everybody was saying a ladder match, but the fact that the TLC pay-per-view is happening, I believe, on December 4th for the SmackDown brand, I don't think they would want to have a ladder match that close to TLC. So the next best scenario, I thought, would be, what do you think about a 2 out of 3 falls match? Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, the blow-off for this feud for the Intercontinental Championship. I think it would be a really good match, as the Miz and Dolph Ziggler have had in the past. They have great chemistry, and I know they would kill it under a 2 out of 3 falls scenario. So we'll have to see where they go with this feud heading forward. But if they're not on Team SmackDown in the 5-on-5 elimination match, then I definitely see them having a singles match at Survivor Series. We had our fifth match of the evening. It was Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger. Not really too much to say about this match, but the fact that Baron Corbin was able to decisively, thank God, defeat Jack Swagger and move on with the victory. He hit the End of Days, which is still a really nice, sick-looking finisher. Happy that Corbin just pretty much demolished, Jack Swagger to pick up the victory here. I see a huge upside potential in Baron Corbin. Obviously, he is one of your young talent you can potentially build around, and I can see down the line, like I keep saying, him becoming a top heel if he works on his promo, mic skills. He obviously needs to get better in that department, but from the look to the entrance to the presentation to, I just want to see him go out there and dominate and demolish people. He should be a wrecking machine like he was being built up on NXT. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. It's all about him. He's not here to make friends, blah, blah, blah. He's in it for him to win championships and to be the guy. So I think that's the direction that they should go in with Baron Corbin, but I was happy to see they didn't do this 50-50 crap. Oh, he won at No Mercy, so Swagger wins here, 50-50. No, Corbin beat him, end of story, end of days, and moving on. So we then head into our main event. It was, before that, Ambrose said he was going to be referee again. He went up to Daniel Bryan. Can I be the special guest referee? He said he'll do it right down the middle, but Bryan was going to send him out there. But you're not going to referee tonight, Bryan said to Ambrose. He said, you can't be involved in this match tonight, but he can be a guest timekeeper, ring announcer, or color commentator. Ambrose said that he'll do it. And Bryan said he's not sure what option Ambrose was going to do. And then we had our main event. AJ Styles versus James Ellsworth. The biggest match in James Ellsworth's career. And for a one-week thing, I thought, okay, it's just going to be fun. Let's enjoy it. Let's see what they do. Obviously, like I said, Ellsworth probably wasn't going to win the WWE Championship. But I thought, from the stuff with Ambrose, putting his shirt on the Titantron and excessively ringing the bell and just his antics outside, trying to get inside AJ Styles' head, to the one spot that I knew they were going to do where Ellsworth hit the super kick, and I thought, oh my god, he might. Maybe there's just a little sliver of a chance that he could knock off AJ Styles. But no, Styles kicks out, and eventually Ambrose would call Styles, you kick like a soccer mom, he told him, and this would lead to Styles hitting forearm shot after forearm shot, and that would lead to the disqualification. So James Ellsworth, back-to-back weeks, he gets the win against AJ Styles, although AJ Styles is still WWE Champion due to the disqualification. Afterwards, Ambrose would get in the ring, hit the Dirty Deeds, and as announced on Talking Smack, next week it'll be in a non-title match, Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles one-on-one, and Bryan said he made this match to see if Ambrose, if he can beat Styles, he will get another championship opportunity. So, a solid average edition of SmackDown Live. I definitely thought, outside of the Goldberg return on Raw, SmackDown was still the better show. And if I had to give it a grade, I would give it I'm going with a B-. Close to C+, B- range. So, that's my grade for SmackDown Live last night. Guys, if you watched this review, let me know down in the comment section below. Did you like SmackDown? Or if you didn't like it, that's okay. Feel free to agree or disagree. Always enjoy having that discussion down below in the comment section. I will respond back to your comments. So that is it, guys. Thank you for joining me for this review for SmackDown Live last night. Remember to please click that like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. And be on the lookout for me in my next video, whenever that may be. So until then, guys, have a great day and take care.